Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Triangulation is brought to you by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com. This is Triangulation with Tom Merritt and Leo Laporte. Episode 26, recorded September 28th, 2011. Guy Kawasaki. This episode of Triangulation brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly. All streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/twit. It's time for Triangulation, the show that really has become the kind of signature, for me, the signature show on Twit, where we interview the most interesting, the most intelligent, the most... And we got one today.
What happened?
We ran out of people.
You ran out of people, so you had to call me. And I have to be on Skype at the moment.
We do. We interview the most interesting people. We do it every week on Wednesdays, Tom Merritt and I, and that's why we call it Triangulation, because you, Guy Kawasaki, are the third leg of the stool today.
The base of the triangle.
Base. They say a tripod is very stable.
Yeah.
So you're making us stable. People probably don't have to know who Guy, don't need introduction, because Guy Kawasaki is literally a legend in a number of areas, particularly in marketing and startups and entrepreneurial endeavors. He is the former chief evangelist at Apple. He's a book author. In fact, Your Art of the Start was the first thing I read before I started at my own startup.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Was that a mistake? He's a fun guy, as you can see. And he actually was with a guy who, one of the guys behind marketing the Apple Macintosh back in, 1984 now. He has a startup incubator now called the Garage Technology Ventures, and he also does something called Alltop, which is a really kind of cool magazine stand for the internet. He used to be a big-time blogger, but now I think, because I think at Google Plus, now I think it's all Google Plussing. Hello, Guy Kawasaki.
Hi.
Your latest book is Enchantment.
Yes.
The Art of Changing Hearts, Minds, and something else.
Actions.
I knew it was one of them. What's Enchantment about?
It's about $18.
And available at bookstores everywhere.
I bet you didn't say that to Good Morning Peoria.
It explains how to create these relationships with people that are deep, mutually beneficial, and voluntary and long-lasting. Think of, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, sort of updated 70 years later.
And when you say enchantment, what is that? What do you mean by enchantment? You mean like a magical spell? What do you mean by enchantment?
No, not magical at all. It's about influence and persuasion and, being likable and trustworthy. It's pretty basic stuff.
Neurolinguistic programming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's trustworthy.
Yeah,
Let me see. What words can I use to influence you? That's true. See, that's part of the problem with marketing in general and charisma in particular. It's not very cool to do it, right? You have to you have to be marketing without appearing to market. Is that right?
Well, I mean, yes, but people who are not likable and not trustworthy will not be enchanting. I mean, you can't be a total schmuck about it.
You can't force it.
No, there's some basic, baseline of decency that you have to be.
But yeah, as soon as someone starts to catch on that you're trying to market to them, you're trying to get across a message, they immediately start to not want to trust you. How do you get past that barrier?
Well, I mean, really, everybody's marketing something, right?
Sure.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. So
I think the acid test is: are you doing something only for your benefit, or is it mutual benefit? So, arguably when Apple sells you something, it's mutually beneficial, right? You feel more powerful, more creative, better. Whereas some other companies, they're doing it strictly for themselves.
Right. And that comes across too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which category?
I think it's pretty obvious.
Which category do you put Facebook in?
Facebook. Facebook is it's
Hey,
not.
Hey, who's that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's a face. Who's that? Who's that?
This is my son Nate.
Hey, Nate, with the California bear on your shirt. How you doing, dude?
Yeah, I just spoke in Berkeley, so I brought him a shirt.
Ah, nice.
That's a
So-
great
Go
shirt.
Bears.
That's a great shirt. How old is he?
Nate is 6.
That's a great age.
He's my youngest. So
Where are they?
they are. Where are you guys?
We're in
Napa?
Petaluma,
Petaluma.
Sonoma
So,
County. Where are you? Nate, where are you?
Nate, where are you?
He's learned not to share his location. It's a secret.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Good privacy policy on Nate.
Are you a stranger? Then I'm not telling you.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to put you back on the spot now that I've let you off the hook. I'm going to put you back on the hook. Facebook.
I'd say Facebook is mutually beneficial. That Facebook obviously is making $2 or $3 billion, but I mean they provide such a service to the people who use them. I have no problem with Facebook.
But a lot of people criticize Facebook, feeling like, well, they're just trying to push to see as much as they can get out of me, and they begrudgingly give me anything.
Oh, but you know what? I mean, that's a crock of shit. And let me tell you why. So, Facebook, they're hosting all these pictures, they're hosting all this text, they're doing all this stuff. And people expect all this stuff for free. I mean, there is such a sense on the internet of entitlement that, my time is so valuable that for you to have my eyeball is a privilege and an honor. And forget the fact that I'm taking up your bandwidth, I'm taking up your disk space, I'm taking up all this stuff. I'm doing you a favor by using your service, Facebook, so you should do all this stuff for me. You know what? I mean, that's like, Leo, if I invite you to my house to come over for dinner, and you come over and you say, Guy, I don't like to eat the stuff you eat. I don't like to eat at the time you eat. I don't like the other people who are here.
That's a good point.
Like, who's doing who the favor?
Right.
Don't frickin' come to my house.
It's
Go
a
to
free
somebody else's
service.
house.
It's a free service. How about Google? You feel like Google is a mutual benefit or taking advantage?
Mutual benefit. You can't become so successful as Google or Facebook without mutual benefit.
There has to be a value
Yeah.
to the user.
Yeah. I think when you hear these people, what I call female dogging, it's because they have this sense of entitlement. And I don't know where that comes from. I mean, it's not true in the analog world. I mean, do you go into a restaurant and say, feed me for free or I refuse to be here? I mean,
That's a very good point.
Is it just
I
bad
don't get-
habits, because we got so much for free on the internet for so long?
I guess. I mean, but still, I mean, why do you think that applies only to the internet? That you should get everything for free? I don't understand that. Having said that, I don't know how you put that horse back in the barn either.
There is a perception problem.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that it's not so much that people expected them to give it to them for free, but they just want to know. They kind of there's an implied contract. Yeah, okay, I'm going to get something from Facebook, and I'm going to, in return, give you some personal information. But there is somewhat of an implied contract with both of these companies that you will keep it to yourself, that you won't abuse our relationship.
Yes. I mean, that's true. It's very interesting that story that broke yesterday about even when you click the like button and you're signed out, Facebook still tracks you.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty interesting stuff. I must say that, that's the equivalent is I invited you to my house for a free dinner, but leave your wallet. I'm going to hold your wallet. I mean,
Right. Like, what do you got in it? I'd like to see.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's something odd about that.
So this is a challenge for everybody who works for a big company, trying to induce customers to trust them, to buy their product. Is trust important for any company? I guess it is, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah. We do business differently than we used to 50 years ago because of the internet, do you think?
Well, do you mean that in a negative or positive way? Because I could actually build the case that it's positive.
I
mean,
no, I would agree with you. Well, one thing the internet's done is empowered consumers. This is what the Clue Train Manifesto was all about: is that consumers in a world with perfect knowledge, you can't rip them off so well, you can't overcharge them very easily, you can't get away with the kinds of things that people have accused some companies of doing, like Facebook, in terms of privacy. You know, there's a real irony, because it was Wall Street Journal that was beating up on Facebook over this like cookie, and they just announced that they're changing their privacy policy
Yeah, I saw
to
that.
track people by name. You know, after beating up on all these companies on their privacy issues, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
we'd like to.
And it's an example. You know, companies are big, right? The reporters aren't the ones setting the privacy policy, but you got to realize you're working for a company too.
That's a good point too. You guys are so even-handed. I don't know how I'm going to start a fight here.
In fact, they're working for Rupert, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We don't need a tracking cookie. We'll just tap your phone.
Right. I mean, what the hell? Yeah.
So you've been using Google Plus a lot.
I love Google Plus.
First of all, let's talk about that, and then I want to know if you think that the new Facebook might be a challenger. But let's talk about Google Plus. Why do you like Google Plus so much?
I like Google Plus. Let me count the ways. First, I love the fact that the messages can be longer than 140 characters. Second, I like
Nobody ever accused Guy Kawasaki of being spare in his prose.
Secondly, I like the fact that you can place inline pictures, not simply a link.
They
to
look
Twitter.
good too.
Yeah. Third, the pictures are big. As you can see right there, that's a picture of a box of a
big
lens.
Scott Kelby gave you his 300, huh?
No, he loaned me a 300, and then Nikon sent me one, so now I can send his back.
Oh, good.
Well, that's the way to do it.
You know, you could never do an album like that on Twitter.
No, it's
right?
fantastic, isn't it?
So I like the inline pictures. I love the threading that, you know, with the analogy I like to use is Google Plus is like a swimming pool, and everything you do, good or bad, stays in the pool. Whereas Twitter is like a river.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you say something, it's gone 2 seconds
That's so
later. You'll
true.
never see it.
Yeah.
Which can be good or bad, you know, because if somebody says, you know, LOL, a useless comment, that thing is gone a second later. On the other hand, with Google Plus, LOL stays there for a long time as you scroll through all this. So, you know, it can be good or bad. So I like the threading. I also love the notification. So that if somebody actually types in plus and Guy Kawasaki, I will get notified that that person said something to me, so I can respond. Whereas with Google Plus, with Twitter and Facebook, you're never quite sure if when you respond they see it, and you're never quite sure, and they're never quite sure if they responded to you if you saw it. So unless you've turned off notification, I mean, it's much more likely that you can engage in a continuous conversation.
Now, come on. You have 146,996 people circling you. How can you possibly follow the notifications?
I do.
You do. You go through those.
I really do. Well, one thing is most people don't do a plus mention. They simply respond, right? So, you know, this is kind of an existential question. If someone doesn't plus mention you in the forest, did he really plus mention you?
That's we should explain if when you say Guy Kawasaki, you could just type Guy Kawasaki, or you could do plus Guy Kawasaki, and then it will actually highlight that. It'll send you an email if you ask for. Do you look at the email do you actually get email notifications?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. I actually I had to turn those off. Yeah. I liked the idea of it, but it was just too many of them.
Well, I feel like I have. Well, you know, this is what differentiates me from, I don't know, say
Everybody else. Everybody else.
Well, but I love interacting. Twitter was so inefficient for interacting. I love interacting. I don't mind interacting. And you know, Leo, the secret to my success in life, what little success I've had, is because I'm willing to grind it out.
Yeah. You remind me a little of Gary Vaynerchuk, because I've talked to Gary, and you know, he does all of this. He talks to people, thanks people. You know, and I think, Gary, there's not enough time in the day, but both of you have been very successful by really making contact with people, by connecting.
Well, the difference between me and Gary is that I don't swear.
Not as much.
Not as much.
You don't. Yeah, we don't have a filter named after you in our chat room as we do.
No.
Did you know that, by the way?
No. What?
If you swear in our chat room, it replaces the swear words with Vaynerchuk.
No.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of There's a lot of like Vaynerchuk U's around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right now, our chat room is full of people saying Vaynerchuk.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Hey, chat mods, give people a break because they're showing this off.
Yeah.
You could
That's
don't
very funny. I didn't
don't
know
ban
that.
anybody for doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
But so you don't like
Can you make
Twitter
it so anytime somebody types the word "guy," it comes out Enchantment with my ISBN number? Or
We
something?
can do that.
Look
See,
at that
now that's the
enchantment over
business
there.
model, Leo. That's the business model. I want to buy the word "the."
You know, we've never
time-
sold keywords in the chat room. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally, we figured out how to make a little money on the side here out of this altruistic venture that we call the Twit. So, Enchantment's been a while now since it came out. It's been very successful. Are you on to another book now, or are you just taking it easy a little bit? What are you up to these days?
No, I think I'm going to write a book about Google Plus. I love Google Plus. I want to write the de facto Google Plus, standard book.
It's kind of, though, I mean, okay, good friend Gina Trapani got
Yeah.
very excited about something called Google Wave. Wrote a
Yeah.
book called Google Wave. The complete
Yeah.
guide to Google Wave. It's not selling very much anymore.
Google Plus
So-
has gotten picked up a lot better than Google Wave.
I
ever
know,
did.
but it's always risky. Everybody's going. It's moving so fast now. Let me ask you about what you think about this new Facebook timeline and the ticker and all the stuff Facebook's doing, which is clearly a direct response
Yeah.
to Google Plus.
Well, I think the best thing that ever happened to Facebook is Google Plus. They might not look at it that way, but I do. But I have to tell you that my presence on Facebook is primarily a fan page, and none of this stuff affects the fan page yet, right?
Right.
Right.
So,
Well, they want you to replace that fan page with a subscribe button.
but how do I get all those?
Not
Can-
yet. They're making a tool. Gina Trapani told me that today. They're making a tool that will take all your fan page followers, likers, I guess you call them,
Yeah.
and transfer them over to subscribers onto your other page. But what that does is it ruins your regular page now.
Well, but
Yeah.
when it makes you pay more attention, right? Because when you post, you have to decide: is
choose.
this a public
Right.
post or not? Right now, you don't have to make that decision.
Right.
But can I ask you perhaps a dumb question? So, when I post something on Facebook, when I post something on Twitter or Google Plus, I know that on Twitter, 400,000 people can see it.
Right.
And on Google Plus, 140,000 people can see it. When I do that on Facebook, is Facebook still using EdgeRank and,
Yes.
figuring out
You
who's
have
going to
no idea who's going to see what.
I don't understand
You
that.
can give permission. You can say, I want
Right.
this to be public. But as you point out, what they do is they have a very complicated, not understood algorithm choosing what shows up on your wall posts there.
Okay,
Although there's the
yeah.
stream on the right-hand side now that
That's
theoretically
everything.
everything goes into.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that changes.
But
the
that's
calculus.
very Twitter-like, this ticker.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I really work very hard on my posts.
Right.
And so the thought of I send it into this big hopper, and all of a sudden 1 out of 5 people might see it. Now, again, I don't want to be a hypocrite. Facebook is doing this for me for free, so this is a free dinner. I understand that.
Right.
But Google Plus and Twitter is also a free dinner, and I know I can reach 100% of the people who follow me. I think that's kind of a fundamental flaw, no?
Yeah.
I mean,
just because the dinner's free doesn't mean you have to say you loved it.
yeah. I don't. It would. I think the equivalent is. So I go on an NPR interview. Let's say I get interviewed by Tech Nation or Fresh Air or something. So for promotional reasons, I go on Fresh Air or I go on Tech Nation. Or I go on This American Life or whatever, and then NPR decides of their 25 million listeners, which 5 million get to see it. I mean, that's something's wrong there. I don't get it.
I mean, do you still enjoy the hurly-burly of the tech community, of the tech industry? You love watching these horse races between Facebook and Google Plus. Is that excitement to you?
I must admit that I have a much more pragmatic attitude right now. That I think for Google Plus and Twitter and Facebook, they are means to an end for me. And the end is selling more books or building my brand. I don't really, I'm not. I think what's changed in my life fundamentally is I have 4 children.
Yeah,
So-
that'll kill your enjoyment.
Yeah. And so I have 4 children, all under the age of college.
Oh, boy.
And so it's enormous time that they take. I mean, everyone has 2 sports and tutoring and, school and all that.
Well, aren't you lucky that you can spend time doing that, Guy?
Yeah, well, I am.
That's
So
fantastic.
but that's why, I don't really, I don't really give a damn about going to every TechCrunch demo, whatever. I never go to those things. I only go to conferences if I'm speaking.
Me
I
too.
never go just for the hell of it.
I don't
too.
have kids, and I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just those things are just they're
It's an
they're
endless
more for
circle
show
jerk. It's
than they
just
are
not fun.
for getting something out.
Yeah,
of
speaking of circles.
Yeah. Also, for you, Leo, I'm sure it's true too that if I could go to those things anonymously,
Yeah.
Maybe.
it would be fun, maybe. But going who as I am, unless I tell people I'm Jackie Chan, which even that would create a different set of problems.
Yeah, right.
Everybody wants to pitch me, and I can't handle more pitches.
I don't have that problem.
Are you still, is Garage Venture still investing and still mentoring entrepreneurs?
No, we're slowing it. We slowed down because we're trying to raise another fund, so we've allocated follow-on investments, but it's new investments are really slowed down. So that's another frustrating point. So everybody's trying to pitch me, and we're not making new investments. So Leo, in my perfect world, I would just be on Google Plus and I would play hockey.
You're retired. You're retired, dude.
No, I'm not retired.
Wait till those young kids start going to college, and you got to make the tuition. It's like $200,000 to send a kid to college these days.
Trust me, I know. Well, my kids are in private school right now, so I'm getting.
You're already doing that. You're already doing that.
So that's why I have to keep working.
That's when I stop. When both kids are out of college, that's when when I'm going to be on that boat I keep talking about. I'm gone.
And how old are they now? Where are they?
I
now,
have one kid in college, one 19 and one 17 is junior in high school, so it's imminent.
Where's the 19-year-old?
She's going to Bard in New York State. She's actually taking this year off, which saved me a lot of money. She said, I want to spend a year traveling, and I said, okay. Traveling's a lot cheaper than Bard. She did the math. Get this guy.
Yeah.
Every class, I don't mean like the whole semester of classes, I mean individual class is $360. Every class.
You mean Monday at 8?
Monday at 8.
Every session.
$360 like that. It's twice as expensive as a psychotherapist. And you're going like to 5 of them a day.
But don't you think that at some point people are going to look at the return on
I think they already are. I think there's a really big question of
It's a rising
what
thing,
are
yeah.
we doing?
Khan Academy has brought that up. The access to classes where you don't get credit, but you can just sit and learn has brought that up. And there's a few people campaigning saying, what? Don't waste your time going to school. Do you agree with that?
But all these schools, they still have 8 applicants for every position.
Well, let me ask you, Guy, about your own kids. And
Yeah?
Are you going to take the chance and say, oh, you don't have to go to college? No. You're going to say, no, you're going to college just in case.
I understand.
Who wants to gamble with their own kid's future? Gamble with somebody else's future.
But there's got to be some economic model where the marginal cost and the marginal return, there's got to be that place where they hit, right? And it cannot be that every college degree is worth $250,000 to everybody.
It's not.
But I have a theory. So my theory is that one of the untapped industries in America is education. We have great education, so we should make that's something that China can't do better than us. I mean, who can do education better than us? So
it's true. They all come from all over the world to American colleges.
Right. And so that should be part of our gross national product. I mean, we do that so well.
Well,
So
I don't know if
We're
it's that we
charging
do.
enough to make a lot of money.
I don't know if it's that we do it so well or that they do it so poorly in so many other nations. In France, it's really you go to a lecture, you memorize the lecture notes, you do not have a discussion, you are tested on what you remember from the lecture, and that's it. You're done. And I think it's in Asia, it's very similar, where it's very focused on results, on tests. We're moving in that direction in the U.S. That's something I'd love to ask you about.
Well, you're talking about college education, not primary education.
But no, this is college education as well in the rest of the world. You focus on innovation, right? I mean, that's really what powers everything that we do here in Silicon Valley. It is the one thing we seem to have a little bit of a monopoly on in the U.S. Maybe because of our education system, at least
Maybe.
compared to other education systems, I think it does foster creativity. Do you think that the pace of innovation, that we will be able to continue that monopoly?
Well, first of all, I don't know if it's a monopoly, and even if I thought it was a monopoly, I would never say that because, every Indian, every Pakistani, every
There's some
Israeli,
innovation. No,
they're
you're
going to
right.
get all pissed
Well,
off.
Oxford
and,
is going to have an opinion about it. Yeah. Nothing else.
Although, it's been a long time since I used anything from Oxford, but I think it's cheaper than ever to be an entrepreneur because everything you need is free.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Right? People are cheap. Cloud is cheap. You don't buy servers anymore. Marketing is cheap if you know how to use Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus and blogs. So marketing is cheap. Nobody rents an office anymore. Everything's virtual. Tools are open source. What do you spend money on anymore? That's why you don't need venture capitalists.
Aha! So you
Just
put
need
yourself out of
Kickstarter.
business. You've been so successful, nobody needs you anymore.
No, it's not that I've been so successful. It's that these external forces have changed the economics of startups.
Yeah.
But there
Right?
doesn't seem to be any shortage of venture capitalists or funding going around. They're using the money for something.
Well, that's the problem. You've got all these rich people. They can't put their money in a CD.
Right.
They got bills to pay.
Well, this is like if you're a cocaine dealer and a big shipment's coming in, you're going to get rid of it somehow.
Here's what you do. You get Ashton Kutcher to put a sticker for your company on his laptop. Did you see what he did on 2.5 Men?
Yeah, I saw that.
He has stickers on his laptop for Foursquare, Flipboard, Hipmunk, and Chegg, all 4 of which he has invested in. He used 2.5 Men to advertise his companies.
Yeah.
CBS was a little shocked.
Maybe.
It's just stickers on a laptop.
Mike Arrington should make it 3.5 Men. And then he can do his whole thing about his venture capital fund, and it'd be funny.
20 million viewers saw those stickers.
Yeah, and do you think it moved the needle at all for any of those companies?
Dennis Crowley, Dens of Foursquare, said, check out A+K showing some Foursquare and GroupMe laptop sticker love on 2.5 Men. He was excited about it.
But seriously, do you think it moved the needle at all? I don't.
Probably not. CBS,
Probably the only people who noticed them are people who already use those services.
CBS says it's going to blur in reruns. It's going to blur them unless they pay for the advertising. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, if I were Nikon, I would be pissed because I'm paying Ashton Kutcher to and he didn't put a Nikon sticker.
He didn't put a Nikon on there.
Right.
Yeah, what's the
I just want to point out that there is underneath this piece of black tape under your head, there is a brand name, but we blacked it out because they didn't pay us. We had to buy these TVs.
Wait, I got to get my 1 second here. Hang on.
Get his laptop stickers. He's going to go get his plugs. We're talking to Guy Kawasaki. He's the author of a brand new, relatively new book called Enchantment, which is enchanting. Very first evangelist in the tech community. Yes, go ahead. Yes. Oh, look at that. That's the 300 millimeter.
Yeah, speaking of Nikon.
Say hello to my little friend.
All right, Scarface. What the hell is that?
This is a 300 millimeter Nikon lens, 2.8. I use it to
2.8. Holy cow!
I use it to photograph my kids' football games. Nikon just sent me one, so I have to announce that because otherwise the FTC will come arrest me.
Are they going to let you keep that?
I don't know, but possession is 9/10 of the law.
You're
right?
not a tech journalist, Guy. You could do anything you gosh darn want. Keep it. If I were you, I would keep it.
Hell, this sure as hell beats a Nokia phone.
That was a Palm Pre, and I didn't keep it. All right.
Okay.
Why would you?
Say hello to my little friend.
Oh my goodness. That's fun. So, is photography a big hobby of yours, Guy?
Yeah, I love photography. When you have 4 kids and 2 are playing football, one's playing soccer, everybody in Silicon Valley is trying to be something they're not, and I'm trying to be a photographer. So,
well, you're not alone. Tom Anderson is getting into photography. He's got Trey Ratcliffe helping him out, also on Google Plus. Google Plus is starting to be the photographers.
But I have I'll give you the marketing positioning for what I would do if I were Google Plus.
All right.
I would position it vis-a-vis Facebook. I'd say Facebook is for people, but Google Plus is for passions.
Oh, I like it.
So, if you want to just hook up with your same old classmates, your same old relatives, your same old friends, they are already on Facebook. You should just stay there. But if you want to broaden your horizons, and let's say a passion is photography, you would get more value out of being on Google Plus and hanging out with those photographers who you don't know personally than you would trying to do that on Facebook. So if it were me, I would have these kind of, little mantras that Google Plus is passions, not people. Or if you're a kid, I would say it's passions, not parents.
Yeah.
Or, if you're a young teenage girl, I would say it's passions, not perverts.
That's so good. You really nailed it there. It's a community of shared interests.
Right, of strangers.
Yeah, Facebook's a family reunion, and Google Plus is a party.
Right, so that's the way to go after Facebook, because you read all these people, they say, well, I came to Google Plus and it's a ghost town. Nobody writes to me. Nobody does anything. I can't find any of my friends and relatives. Well, you're using it wrong. You're supposed to, search for your passions of photography or hockey or tech or whatever and find new people, not just hook up with your old tired people.
I will say I haven't
Guy. We got to get
Twitter
him. We got to get Guy a house that's not on the train tracks.
Yeah, right.
I got to say that.
I know. Well, the door's open. When Nate came in, he opened the door and he left it open.
It's okay. It's hot out there. It's okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But Google Plus has not replaced Twitter for me, but it has replaced Facebook, and I think that's an interesting dichotomy. Twitter seems to be like the cockroach of social networks. It can survive anything because of its restrictions. You use it for a very particular thing. Is that true for you?
What do you use Twitter for that you cannot do with Google Plus?
What I use Twitter for is just broadcast, short, quick. Like I want to catch up with something. I want to put a pithy phrase out there. Maybe engage in a quick back and forth using the @ reply. Google Plus is more significant. I'm more committed to it.
Yeah.
I want to write something out that shows thought. I can't get away with a quick and dirty thing because people know I could have taken more time. So I do take more time. Twitter excuses it a little. It's the difference between writing a haiku and a sonnet, I guess.
Well, it's because it's the difference between a river and a pool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the river and standing water is a good analogy for that.
I'm full of good analogies.
You are. You're the master of
Is that what it is?
I work for two people who are great at analogies. One, of course, is Steve Jobs. But the second one is Jean-Louis Gasset.
I love Jean-Louis. I read his Monday newsletter every week. I just think he really does a great job. Very insightful blogger. Let's talk about Steve. You worked with him during the Macintosh era. And I don't think there's any question. Brilliant, visionary fellow. What do you think Apple without Steve Jobs is going to be like?
Well, for a hardware company like Apple, for the next year or year and a half, the product pipeline is set, right?
They got momentum.
Yeah. So iPhone 5, iPhone 6, whatever, that's laid in granite. The question is, what happens after that? So now we have two scenarios. One scenario is Steve has inculcated his values and his DNA so deeply into Apple that it can go on forever, using the word forever loosely. Just like, I've been to Disneyland twice this summer.
Yeah, Walt's not there.
And Walt's not there, and, I still have a great time. It's not like I went there and say, oh, man, it's just lacks the passion anymore. So that would be one scenario. The other scenario is, now that Dad is gone, all the little kids will fight. And before, Dad said, when I rub 3 fingers, it's going to scroll up or down, or it's going to scroll sideways. And, the trash can will be in the right-hand corner, and it's going to have 4 vertical lines. And when you put something in, it's going to bulge. So Dad made the decision. Now Dad's not around. So are the kids going to fight? Or are the MBAs going to take over Apple? And instead of fighting, the MBAs are going to say, let's have a focus group.
Right.
Let's ask our customers. And the day you hear that Apple's doing focus group is the day that Apple's dead.
Very good point. That's a really important point. In fact, do you think that's what happened to Microsoft?
I don't know. I mean, Microsoft, Microsoft just prints money, but wow.
You wouldn't want to be there now.
Still printing money. But look at look at the success of Xbox. I mean, go figure, right?
Right.
Xbox is so successful.
But people always bring up Xbox. It's really the exception that proves the rule because, and then what else?
Other than Windows and Xbox.
And Windows is an example of a product that was set in stone 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And is
Still incredibly successful. I mean,
oh, yeah.
dominant.
I guess I shouldn't say there's anything wrong with Microsoft.
Well, what do you guys think of HP?
Now, there's a story, huh?
Yeah. That's amazing, huh? Like if you sat down and said, "How can we screw up a franchise?"
Yeah,
I don't think you could do a better job.
No kidding. Will Meg Whitman be enough to save HP?
I don't know. I mean, I like her. I know her, but I don't know. I mean,
that's a challenging job.
Well, a lot of the knocks on her have been she hasn't been in this level of enterprise before. She was very successful at eBay, but this is
she's never sold hardware.
That was a consumer-focused company. Do you think that is going to be an issue for her, or is the fact that she's competent overrule that?
I think the fact that she's competent will overrule that. I mean, if you gave me a choice between someone who ran NCR and someone who ran eBay, I would pick eBay.
Yeah, I guess you're right, huh?
Right. So. But what I can't understand is if you look at the composition of the HP board, and I think there's 15 of them, which is 2x too many.
Yeah.
And of the 15, something like 4 or 5 are private equity. Like, I don't understand it. Why are there so many finance types on the HP board?
Why is that a problem, Guy?
Well, because those finance types, I mean, they live on, Fifth Avenue, and they have assistants to help their assistants do their assisting. And so, it's like so counter to all of personal computing.
I learned so much from The Art of the Start. Tell us, if we were going to put a board together for who would you put on the board? Who are you looking for? What makes a great board of directors?
Well, a great board of directors has various roles. So one, you need dad. And what dad does is dad is the taskmaster, and dad tells you, what you can and cannot do. You also need mom. Mom makes you feel good, makes you feel warm and fuzzy, loves you unconditionally. So you need mom for when you screw up and dad is smacking you around.
Good.
You need Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire is the guy who has the Rolodex, right? And he can call up Jeff Bezos. He can call up Bill Gates. He can call up Barack Obama. I mean, he can call up anybody. So you need Jerry Maguire. You also need Freeman Dyson. You need a technologist who's going to tell the rest of the board, these guys are smoking crack. These guys are defying rules of thermodynamics. This cannot be done.
Right.
And then you need a nerd. You need a nerd who says, everybody has done this with 65 transistors, and I tell you, it can be done with 2. So as I look at it, I think Mark Andreessen is good for the HP board.
Sure.
I think Ray Lane is good for the HP board because he understands, enterprise software. They're definitely lacking a nerd. If I were them, I would call up Woz and beg Woz to come on the HP board.
Perfect.
Is Ray Lane dad in this analogy? That seems about right.
I think Ray Lane is dad. And if Meg Whitman doesn't succeed, then guess who the next CEO will be?
Ray Lane.
And guess how long it'll take from the time they decide Meg isn't the next CEO till Ray Lane is the next CEO? Roughly 3 days.
Are you surprised that Ray didn't take a charge this time?
Well, I mean, if I were him, why would I?
He probably didn't want to. I don't need that.
I mean, when you have more money than God, why?
I don't need that stuff. But I'll advise. But I ain't running anything.
Yeah, that would be my attitude.
Guy, you're when you're on a board, you're the guy with the Rolodex, I'm thinking.
I'm actually more like dad.
Really?
I'm more the person
you
smacking
kick butt?
people around. Yeah. I have a great Rolodex, don't get me wrong, but people, when I'm on a board, I really serve the devil's advocate job. And I also I can really do biz dev for a company.
Yeah.
I mean, I connect the company with almost anybody.
Right.
For example, Amber.
Right. Right.
Everybody wants to get to Amber MacArthur.
Right.
So,
you can connect them. You know her.
Yeah. I'm so glad. I'm so glad she has more than just that one black T-shirt. I mean, she had about 5 avatars all in the same black T-shirt.
I know.
It was very disturbing to me. I was at the Vancouver Olympics. I bought her T-shirts from the Olympics.
You're a very kind man. You're a generous, kind human being.
I'm always thinking of Amber.
What are you excited about besides Google Plus? What technology coming down the pipe gets you excited these days?
You know, when you're 57 years old, and
you're not 57 years old.
57 years old. What can I tell you, Lee? Why would I lie? Am I high?
You look like you're 34.
Well, that's because it's high definition.
It's
I don't
a bad
know.
Skype connection.
Skype connection.
It smooths the wrinkles. Yeah.
I'm using AOL dial-up right now. How about you? I truly, Google Plus is the most enchanting thing I've seen in a couple years. I really love Google Plus.
Socials use. How about let's talk about hardware? Amazon just made some big announcements. Amazon's really making a play. They're pulling ahead here.
This Kindle Fire thing. So it's what is it? $2.99?
No,
$1.99.
$1.99.
Okay, so $1.99. Color, 7 inches. All that stuff in the cloud. Too bad it's not 3G, but I understand that. So I don't know if you're a power user, you're going to switch from an iPad to that. I doubt that. But let's face it, many people are not power users, and an iPad is 95% a reader, right?
And $300 more.
Yeah, and $300 more. And I have to say that everybody's focusing on Fire versus iPad. What I think is the really interesting play here is with a $200 Kindle, and they also lowered the price of the other stuff, right?
Right.
I'm telling you, if I were a New York publisher based on paper, my poo would be coming out in bricks right now.
Well put, my friend.
Because this is really the death of paper. I mean, it may not be the death of paper, but paper will be so marginalized after this, right? And Leo, you and I are both published authors. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is. My publisher cannot sell, for example, someone 500 copies of Enchantment as an ebook. Literally, there is no way to do it. I am just astounded at the issues that have surrounded ebooks. And so for all you authors out there, there's an ebook I recommend you read called Be the Monkey. And it's written by this guy named Barry Eisler, E-I-S-L-E-R. And he is a thriller writer. He has the John Rain character, R-A-I-N. So his books, John Rain is this Hapa. Hapa means you're half white, half Japanese. Judo expert, CIA operative kind of guy who goes around murdering people, like the ultimate Japanese American killer.
Which, by the way, that's what Barry Eisler did early in life.
Seriously?
He was a CIA operative.
Really?
Yeah.
And so he has written this book about why his latest book called The Destination is an ebook and how it came out probably a year earlier because he did not use paper-based publisher. And I just read The Destination. All the novels I read on an iPad. I have not bought a paper-based novel in 2 years.
Wow.
And the only paper-based book that I bought in the last 2 years are the Chicago Manual of Style, just because I wanted it on my shelf.
Nice thing to have.
And I also bought a Nikon D7000 book, How to Use a D7000. I bought that in paper because I thought I would sit around, in front of the swimming pool and read that book. But I regret that. I should have bought it as an ebook because then I could always have it with me when I have questions about my camera.
Now, should the publishers be worried about this, or do they stand to make as much money or more off of ebooks?
Well, I mean, in a perfect world, so Enchantment has a suggested retail of $26. Street price is $18. The ebook version is almost the same price. If I were pricing it, if Penguin said to me, Guy, price your books the way you think they should be priced. The ebook version of Enchantment would be $6.
Yeah. There's no printing. There's no truck.
There's no nothing.
There's
it
no
would be
nothing.
$6.
Yeah,
It's
there's
bits.
some bits.
And I would.
And you want
they might-
50%.
Right, and they might say, well, it's going to cannibalize the $14.99 price, and I would say, I don't think so. There's two kinds of people, and so I think the publisher, what publishers bring to the party is they are able to move large volumes of paper from R.R. Donnelley to your local Barnes and Noble or Borders.
That's right.
Except there's one problem. There aren't any more Barnes and Nobles and Borders. So what they're good at is moving paper to bookstores. There's no more bookstores.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, what does a publisher do? So what does an author need? An author needs an editor. An author needs a designer. An author needs a book design, a cover designer. An author needs copy editing, and an author needs marketing. That's the stuff that publishers should provide. But they keep focusing on, they define their business as we move large dead trees to large dead entities. There are two things wrong with that equation. And so, it's like the example I like to use is the ice business. So there used to be an ice harvesting business where Bubba and Junior cut blocks of ice, right? So guess what put them out of business? The ice factory. Now it didn't have to be winter. You didn't have to live in a cold city. What a concept. Then what happened to the ice factories? What put them out of business? The refrigerator. Now you didn't have to go to the ice factory or have the iceman deliver ice to your house. So we went from ice harvester to ice factory to refrigerator company. Publishing right now is an ice harvester.
Yeah. Well, and is Amazon set to become the new publisher? Because they can provide all of that marketing. They just need to beef up their editing and their copy editing services, and they're in.
Oh, yeah. Or even if they don't provide that part of it, for $500, you can get anybody to edit a book, right? For $500, you can get a cover design. For $500, you can get it laid out. So, call it $2,000. For $2,000, you can create a pretty decent ebook.
That's how Lulu.com works, is they just say, hey, pay for all that stuff. We'll put you in touch with editors and designers.
Yeah, and then, now, the ramification of this is that every author has to think of himself or herself as an entrepreneur. And as an entrepreneur, guess what? You're responsible for not only making the book and writing the book, but for selling the book. And, publishers used to convince authors that we are your marketing arm, we are your sales arm, we're your distributor, right? And Penguin has great people. I'm not complaining about Penguin at all in all that they did. But the fact is that as an author of an ebook, you have to assume that role because there's not going to be anybody getting your book into Borders. Well, frankly, because Borders doesn't exist. So now the author has to become the entrepreneur. And the author, it all comes back to Google Plus, Leo. The author has to understand social media because that's the way you sell books today.
Not just books, it's music, it's video, it's every creative enterprise.
The artist has to become an entrepreneur. And I hear this complaint from musicians, from writers, but I don't want to do that. I just want to make my art. I don't want to have to do the business side.
Too bad.
Well, then God bless you. You'll be working at night at Starbucks. I mean,
if you want to do your art.
Yeah, make your choice.
One last question for Guy Kawasaki. Yes. What do you tell your kids? How old are your youngest is 6? How old's your oldest?
6, 9, 16, and 18.
So you've got a great range there. What do you tell your kids to prepare them for the future of work, their future lives? How do you get them ready for that?
You're kidding, Leo. I mean,
you got a minute?
Wait, Leo, let me just ask you something. You're telling me you sat down with your kids?
I do.
You said,
I have.
I'm gonna help you prepare for your future.
You know what I tell them? I say it doesn't. I say I'll be happy if you're happy. All I ask of you is to find what you love and to do it.
Amen. So, what I've told my kids is master Facebook and social media. Like every other
That's
parent,
true.
Every other parent is telling them, be careful, don't post pictures on Facebook, because the Stanford's admissions office is going to go look at your Facebook thing and conclude that you're
That's
a
right.
drug-using, stripping drunkard, right? And I really think that social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Google Plus, is a really great marketable skill.
Yeah.
And I'm third generation Japanese American, so my kids will be fourth generation, and it's different, right? So my parents came over merely trying to survive, and so now I've more than survived. I've been very fortunate, and so now my kids have a different sort of set of constraints, and I completely agree with you. I think I would like them to pursue what they love. Maybe that's not going to create a whole generation of aggressive, hungry entrepreneurs.
Maybe it will, though. Wait a minute, though, because
Okay.
some people, what they love is starting businesses, running businesses.
Yeah.
I think there's enough people that we can fill most jobs. Maybe there's nobody who loves digging ditches or tarring roofs. Fortunately, there are plenty of people who aren't going to get an education, and those people are going to end up doing that. But if you're educated, you learn how. I think you're really right, Guy. You got to market yourself. You got to be comfortable with the idea that you got to put yourself out there, and then you got to find out what you really love best.
Or be willing to outsource it to somebody who can help you out. Just
Yeah,
like
well-
you let someone edit your book.
That's a
Maybe
good
you let
point.
someone coach you on
Some people are
social
better
media.
at social
Yeah,
media
yeah.
than other people. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I have this conversation about Facebook all the time, and people ask me, what do I recommend? I said, you guys are all approaching Facebook wrong. Everybody's saying Facebook is so dangerous. Employers are looking at it. Colleges are looking at it. You have to be really careful. The way to play the game is that colleges and employers are looking at your Facebook presence, right? So knowing that, what you should do is you should post a picture. Here I am building a church in
Absolutely.
Guatemala.
Absolutely.
Here I am, at the Northern California Football Championship. Here I am visiting the museum at MIT on technology. Here I am with my buddies as we won the science fair. So people are looking at your Facebook profile. Use it as a marketing device. Don't hide it. I mean, I don't understand. What can I say?
Well, you can say good night. Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Guy Kawasaki. Enchantment is his most recent book, GuyKawasaki.com. But forget all that stuff. Just go to Google Plus and circle Guy Kawasaki, because he posts great stuff there like every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes. It's incredible.
Thank you, Leo.
So great to see you again, Guy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Take care, Guy Kawasaki. Take care. Thank you for joining us, everybody, for our... I love this show because it's about ideas. I do want to put in a plug very quickly for something else I love more than life itself. No, I can't say that, but I do love it. It's Netflix. Netflix streaming. I want you to go to netflix.com/twit and get it free for 30 days. That's a 30-day free trial. It's only $7.99. And the streaming movies are incredible. Oh, look, Futurama. Oh, look, The Messenger. Oh, look, Mad Men and Family Guy. Oh, look, Breaking Bad. I love watching Breaking Bad on I was paying for it, and they just put it on Netflix.
I know. I had the same thing.
I'm so happy. Well, I only bought the first 2 seasons, so I'm watching season 3 right now. Look, this is the idea. Don't stop getting DVDs. Stop paying for any. Pay $7.99, and I guarantee you every night there will be something worth watching. Apocalypto, Mel Gibson, that's got to be wild. I haven't seen that.
Actually.
But so you don't want to buy, to be honest, you really don't want to take a chance on going to the movie store, going to the Red Box, because what if it's crap? But on Netflix streaming, you just press a button.
Yeah.
You watch. If you don't like it, there's something else. I feel like you're willing to take more chances on movies. I've seen a lot of movies I would have never seen. Great documentaries, great TV shows, and of course, movies too. It's all there. Netflix.com/twit. If you are already a Netflix subscriber, I know you are. Of course you are. But if you aren't, do it. And if you already are, tell somebody, just one person, maybe that person at work, a mom, a cousin, Netflix.com/twit. Make sure they go to Netflix.com/twit and give them that 30-day free trial. It's like a gift. It's a Christmas gift. We do this show Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 2300 UTC on twit.tv. We've got some great people coming up, and we are attempting to book Jeff Jarvis because his new book is out. We want to get him on, even though he gets plenty of airtime on Twit. But just to talk about
Kevin Marks for next week.
Kevin Marks next week will be great. I wanted to get him on, too. Of course, he's a regular on many of our shows because his career path is amazing. From the BBC to Apple Computer to British Telecom and now at Salesforce.com. Anyway, some great people coming up. We thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time on Triangulation.